Guys, it's Miss Shepherd. Today we're going to be looking at unit rate and equivalent ratios. Our lesson today corresponds with our review standard of 6 RP2 to find the unit rate. And we're also going to look at 6 RP3. We're going to learn to make tables of equivalent ratios, and we want to be able to solve unit rate problems, including those involving unit prices and constant speed. How can you write equivalent ratios? You need to determine what the unit rate is, sometimes in order to find the answer. However, you can often look at equivalent ratios like equivalent fractions. You do the same things you would do to find equivalent fractions, such as you multiply the two terms in the ratio by the same number, or you divide the two terms in the ratio by the same number. Mr. West uses this recipe to make a batch of soup. He often doubles or triples the recipe and freezes some of the soup. What ratio of cups of stock to batches of soup should Mr. West use to make 1, 2, and 3 batches of soup? First thing we want to do is we want to look at the recipe and identify how many cups of stock he needs. He needs 4. So what is our ratio? 4 to 1. We can use a table to help us keep track of our answers. Cups of stock, 4 to batches of soup, 1. Across the bottom, I have 1, 2, and 3 to represent the 3 different batches of soup that he will make. So if I want to figure out how many cups of stock are in 2 batches of soup, I want to say 4 times 2, which gives me 8. So there would be 8 cups of stock in 2 batches of soup. To find how many would be in 3 batches, I would do the same thing by saying 4 times 3, which gives me 12. Therefore, there are 12 cups of stock in 3 batches of soup. A cafeteria worker knows that it takes 3 bottles of juice to serve a table of 18 students. How many bottles of juice are needed for 24 students? And how many bottles of juice are needed for 42 students? What is the ratio? 3 to 18. So looking at this, we have our bottles on top and we have our students on the bottom. I can't make 18 go into 24 or 18 into 42, but I can find a unit rate. We can't make equivalent fractions just by looking at these two, so we need to find the unit rate by using division. So I would say 18 divided by 3, and the unit rate would be 6 students per bottle of juice. Looking at the first set of ratios, we're going to divide to find the answer, not multiply, because we are comparing the number of students to bottles. So I would say 24 divided by 6 gives me 4. So in order to serve 24 students, we would need 4 bottles of juice. Looking at the second set of ratios, we're going to divide to find the answer, not multiply, because we're comparing the number of students to the bottles. 42 divided by 6 gives me 7. Therefore, we would need 7 bottles of juice to serve 42 students.